Well, howdy tubers. Not gonna believe what I grabbed out of my junkyard here. This is a Byron Originals Zero 88-inch wingspan that I'll say I crashed because I was flying it, but I got shot down. I was on channel 33. Me and my son went to, see, I can't even blame it on my boy. We went to Columbus, Missouri for a model fly-in, and on the first flight, started getting interference, and she went in, and out in this field or some, I don't even remember, but it was a little ways away from the model field. And so we got it, and on our way walking back, there was a guy alongside the parking there, had channel 33 on. Didn't say nothing, so, because you just don't know. So, but anyway, so remember I was telling you that I fixed my fiberglass Corvettes and using the thin CA. So I've got a little bit of the nose section kind of glued back together, and I finally found my plans, and you're glad I did, because I was planning on taking a little bitty picture and taking it to a copying place and having it blown up. But I see when I finally found my plans that I had, I don't know if that, you can see that, I have drawn this bulkhead that I'm needing, and you really can't. Anyways, I've drawn that bulkhead, and I've drawn a bunch of the bulkheads and stuff, and the rib and stuff on these plans. So now I can piece it together. And so far, what I'm gonna do, and then is, it looks like for some reason I had cut this bulkhead in a weird way to get it in there, not knowing why, or not remembering why. So by using those plans there, I'm able to make me a new one here. This doesn't fit right there quite right yet. I just thought, well, let me do a video first. So that's where we're at, and I was on this, let's see, well, this side of this back wing hold down on the other side had ripped through, and it was, well, I think, yeah, that was the one that had ripped through. So I had it, but I was missing this piece that I'm trying to replace, which had this on here. But since I've had quite a few Byron's airplanes and a few crashes, I had some good reason for keeping things. I had some extra ones, so good to go. Here's a smaller version. Actually, that's, since this has got two screws, this is what's supposed to be in here on the stabilizer on the Zeros to hold the stabilizers in, but I just glued them in because I wasn't going to pull them off. So, but anyway, that's what I'm working on now. Whether or not, well, let me get the engine here. Whether or not, well, hang on. Okay, here's the engine, which is a Zenoa G62, which is, of course, then 62 cc's. And I'm sure what happens, the crank really, I mean, I'm not saying you can't bend them, but what normally happens is, oh, I can even show you. Here's I think this is G62 crank anyways. But what happens is, see it's got a pin there, which goes through for your connecting rod. What happens is this twists on that shaft. I call it gets tweaked. And so all you have to do is put it in the lathe, because I've done it many a times. Put it in the lathe and put dial indicator on here and keep hitting on it until you get it, well, 0 or a couple thousandths out or something, and then you're good to go again. So, I mean, I'm not saying these can't get bent, because I'm sure they can, but what generally happens, that just gets tweaked, I call it. So, I'll have to take the engine, of course, apart, and I can probably heat these fins up, because I'm sure if I try to do it while they're cold, they'll just break off. Of course, you know, it was running when it hit, so they were hot, so easier to bend. So if I heat them up before I straighten them out, well, then they ought to straighten out easier. So, anyways, I don't know how much. Well, let's see. Okay, well, this is the right wing that's repairable. Just have to fix that spot there. But the left wing was demolished. But since I've had 3 of these Byron Zeros, the very first one, it exploded because a friend of mine's Hellcat went through it. So there was nothing left of it. But the second one, which is this one, I've still got a fairly decent. Matter of fact, I crashed it and went through a power line. So I've got another wing that I can make work. My problem is, and hopefully maybe somebody watching these videos would have something. Nobody's ever said anything about the G62s, and I did get one from my dad. So anyway, any Byron's landing gear parts, I could sure use some of them. So anyway, let's see, get back in there. Anyways, like I said, I've had 3 of these Zeros, Byron Zeros. Well, I've had other Zeros too. My boy's even well, no, I guess he's still got a 60 size one or 40 size one. But just the best flying model airplane for a scale model. They're just fantastic. Of course, I'm sure you probably have heard that the Zero was based on Howard Hughes's Hughes Racer, which I don't know if there's any truth in that or not, but that's what they say. So, anyways, I'll kind of work on this and see what I can get going, and keep you posted if there's any interest. And of course, I guess if there isn't any, I'm still going to. So anyway, there you go. God bless.